Welcome to an Art Wheel Studio watercolor demonstration with one of our teachers, Miss Victoria. Today, she'll be painting a Christmas tree ornament with watercolors. Follow along and find out how easy it is to put your ideas to paper. Miss Victoria starts out by working through each separated red segment of the ornament. Since these are striated, it is easy to do them one at a time and keep the watercolors from mixing between segments. She works the red color wet into wet, allowing it to diffuse into the part that she first went over with water. As the wet area becomes damp, Miss Victoria can control the intensity and hue of the red paint to immediately give the object a three-dimensionality, adding shadows, halftones, and highlights. It is important to carefully keep the highlights at all times in watercolors, since we avoid using acrylic white and create lighter colors by working around them, like they are a negative space of their own. As she starts the next segment, watch as she leaves the highlights and reflections in the ornaments dry, while adding color to all the wet areas. Miss Victoria adds a darker red-black to further strengthen the spherical quality of the ornament. Watch as she lets some edges of the dark color blend into the red, and helps it mix in with other locations with just a few brush strokes. Now Miss Victoria will work on the ornament cap. She chooses a range of yellows and browns, leaving white highlights to convey a gleaming effect on the cap's details. Next, Miss Victoria will be working on the white segments of the ornament. Now that the red areas are dry, it is easy to work just the white areas without them bleeding into the finished parts. For the white areas, Miss Victoria starts with an off-white hue leaning into yellow. Paired with the shadow she will add later, this hue will help give the ornament an almost ivory or painted feeling. Now the base tone of the white areas is in, and Miss Victoria adds a cold gray to convey the shadow of the ornament. She follows the same logic of highlights and halftones as in the red pieces to create a united sense of light and reflections on the sphere. Miss Victoria's next step is to paint in the tree branches that will act as a compositional cushion for the main subject. She chooses a dark cool green to accent the shadow under the ornament and immediately complement its red body. As she works past the immediate area of shadows, she introduces bright hues to the branches, letting them become more green, yellow, and brown. By working with a variety of greens, Miss Victoria gives the painting a more natural and realistic feeling. Watch how loose she is with her strokes, and how she mixes up directions and lengths of each movement to further the organic quality of the branches. Now Miss Victoria will add reflected tones to the ornament. While it already looks pretty grounded by the shadow it casts on the branches, the main subject can better be integrated into the composition when its lower segments reflect some bounce light from the branches. She adds a gradient wash to each white segment, starting with a combination of cool and warm dark greens. These are slightly lighter versions of the branch colors. Notice how this immediately gives life and a solid connection between the touching objects. Finally, Miss Victoria adds a metallic acrylic trim to the ornament to finish out the painting. Thank you for joining Miss Victoria and me today at Art Wheel Studio to paint this bright Christmas ornament. Stay tuned to our channel and see more videos like this, and visit our studios in Roanoke or Frisco to start your own journey in watercolors.